June 17. This is sensational, friends. The SBU carried out the special operation Web 2, destroying locomotives with hundreds of tanks and dozens of pieces of equipment. About these Russian war correspondents are literally crying right now. We are waiting for confirmation. God, SBU, don't stop. A series of explosions in Moscow, the Moscow region, Nizhny Novgorod and Kursk. But the music is...
Sorry for the bad quality, guys, but that's how it is.
Boom, bada boom. Muscovites are rejoicing.
Are you seriously kidding me? It just exploded literally 200 meters away. A drone just crashed right now. I think we're the closest to the epicenter of safety. Smoke is burning. Over there, a piece of the fire truck is being put out. White smoke means they're putting it out. There you go. The scariest part is that the forest got hit.
Boom, bada boom. Burn, burn bright so it doesn't go out. In Pushkino, near Moscow, a warehouse with fuel, lubricants and gas cylinders suddenly caught fire. And it's all because dozens of drones were flying toward Moscow.
It went straight on. The engine's in the back. No. It's making a full circle.
And now they're starting to shoot them down. Well, at least not on our heads.
They shot it down so well that there's a non-stop fire show in the swamps today. Friends, please like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Dasha. Write a few kind words in support of Ukraine in the comments, and also let us know where you're watching from. Like, comment, subscribe, and let's get started.
We'll just drive through, that's it.
The Ukrainian armed forces attacked a fuel depot in Moscow and a thermal power plant in Smolensk. There's a blackout there.
One of them hit us. There's a second one somewhere. Where are you, you bastard? It's already hitting Ukraine too. Well, what can you do? Did it hit us?
Kestovo, in the Nizhny Novgorod region. After a drone attack by the Ukrainian armed forces, a bitumen plant is on fire. The Lukoil Nizhny Novgorod Nefteorg Synthese oil refinery is also burning intensely. And this is the second attack on the refinery in less than a year. All three Skanderem launchers were destroyed as a result of a missile strike in the Bryansk region.
They hit it. Look. They hit the base, those absolute bastards. Yeah, really. What the H?
Well, Muscovites are actually really shooting down drones with their hands, or more precisely with pistols.
Here's the situation. So that's Zelenograd over there. Here we've got an air defense system, you see? This is how we set it up, and then we throw it over there. There, that's all that's left. That's how I and we as a team are able to successfully detect and catch these UAVs right here in this area, just like that. And then they fall over there basically in the forest. They don't make it to the apartment building. What are you writing? Quiet. Moscow is on the line!
And now, the cherry on top. The armed forces of Ukraine shot down a Russian Su-35, a fourth-generation multi-role fighter. The aircraft was hit in the Kursk direction. Boom, bada boom. The ground is now fiberglass. And our Neptunes are striking Sevastopol as well. Looks like they started celebrating Neptune Day a bit early in Sevastopol.
This is... damn. Some serious equipment. That's not a factory.
Well... And your favorite fascinating topic, Moscow, which got flooded.
We're to the sea, we're right here, and over there people are literally from the camp.
Moscow and the Moscow region were hit by a downpour with hail. Heavy rain, wind and hail in Mytishchi and Korolev. Today, bad weather is expected not only in Moscow. City services are warning that the capital will see rain with thunderstorms and strong winds up to 15 meters per second. In the second half of the day, thunderstorms will rumble through Moscow. Hail hit the Moscow region, and this is what it looks like in Korolev.
It's hail, it's hail, it's pure hail.
And we continue our analysis. As usual, to wrap up, let's take a look at a breakdown of some top-notch Russian propaganda.
Look at what's happening on Prospect Mira, not far from their main mosque. On the days when they celebrate Kurban Bayram, there's no traffic on this 12-lane highway. 12 lanes, 6 in one direction and 6 in the other. And so, from their balconies, people are filming from the metro, along Prospect Mira and further down Yaroslavskoye highway. You can't see the end. The entire area is covered with people. And these are men, strong men, men who don't drink. All of them practice wrestling, go to the gym to train. It's an entire army. And if one day the mullah orders them to wipe out the people of Moscow, believe me, they'll do it quickly. Because the Ministry of Internal Affairs won't even have time to react or handle it. And the result will be very tragic. Why are they so strong? I'll say it again. Because they are bound together by a single bond faith.
Some idiot who put on a cassock seriously. I can't call him anything but an idiot. He's a representative of the army of the Antichrist. There's no other way to put it. He's telling 2 billion Muslims that our faith is wrong. I have a question. Who are you to say things like that? There are 30 million indigenous Muslims living in Russia. And what exactly do you want to tell us? Is it really possible to say for certain whether our faith is right or wrong? While we are doing everything we can, making every possible effort to unite Muslims and Christians and foster understanding between our communities, here comes yet another person, someone who chooses to make these kinds of provocative statements, stirring up unnecessary tension and misunderstanding. But I also have a question. Does it really have to come to someone breaking the law and doing something drastic just so idiots like that would stop saying such things? And if anyone raises the head of nationalism, that head must be cut off. It simply needs to be cut off, that head.
And why is it that the Crimean Bridge doesn't really stir any strong emotions in you? But if we target the Kyiv Dam, you get so worked up every time. But if Ukraine strikes the Crimean Bridge, what's stopping us from destroying the Kyiv Dam?
I honestly don't understand. Personally, I don't post any of that stuff. I'm not happy about it. I understand it was...
But I'm just thinking logically.
Vladimir Rudolfovich, you're not being logical, you're not thinking logically.
I know.
Because I read what the experts say. Yes, it was sabotage. But it didn't actually cause any real damage to the Crimean Bridge.
Vladimir Dmitrievich, let me remind you.
It could have. Well, and if you're talking about the Kyiv Dam, there, at least tens of thousands of people died. That was sabotage. But this is a terrorist attack. These are different things.
Vladimir Dmitrievich, excuse me, I want to remind you that the previous act of sabotage on the Crimean Bridge resulted in people being killed. Moreover, it was only a stroke of luck that prevented the train passing nearby from derailing. Because that was exactly the plan. Vladimir Dmitrievich, my opinion. Asking again.
I'm not arguing with you, because otherwise it will be concluded that I'm covering for someone. No.
And why should a strike on the dam necessarily lead to people dying?
Are you serious?
What do you mean?
If the Kyiv Dam is blown up?
Yes, and then what?
Come on. No. Wait, there.
No, wait.
Well, what can you do? Well, listen. The water would flood half of Kyiv region and the Cherkasy region. People would die, civilians would die, and on a massive scale.
Just a minute. When the Ukronazis blew up the Kakhovka hydroelectric power plant dam, I don't remember anyone being particularly upset. I was there. I saw all of this with my very own eyes.
And people died.
So what? Did the international community react in any way?
Look, Vladimir Rudolfovich.
How many strikes hit there? They deliberately pounded it with HIMARS. And just imagine how much money was spent firing those HIMARS to destroy that dam. And so what?
I'm all for punishing them perfectly, but I'm against calling for revenge. So now what? Should we go and destroy the Kyiv Dam for those greedy idiots? Or just wipe out all of Kyiv?
So are you suggesting that during the Great Patriotic War we shouldn't have bombed Berlin?
Russia, as always, underestimates its opponents. They significantly underestimated Mr. Zelensky and his team. They called him all sorts of names, let's recall. Comedian, drug addict, expired, and so on and so forth. In my opinion, it seems that the people who used such words and epithets about him were just trying to assert themselves. Cheap drones were used, equipped with artificial intelligence, and there was delivery involved. This is a successful special operation. Do you understand? In the language of special services, this is a daring, successful operation that resulted in minimal costs but caused billions of dollars in damage. What can I say? Bold.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now.
They spent a year and a half preparing, calculated everything precisely, prepared everything thoroughly. After all, this is a success. This is a success for the SBU. No matter what anyone tells me, that's the way it is. And here I don't want to label anyone or pass judgment, but it turns out that the entire Russian state machine was prepared for anything except this special operation. Isn't that right? So they didn't even consider it in their models.
How should I answer?
Because it turns out that all of us were left hanging, quite literally. We don't know where these tracks might be, whether such tracks exist, whether there are similar caches. And in fact, what they've demonstrated today could be used to destabilize things without even sending drones from Ukrainian territory. For example, disrupting the operation of key aviation hubs across Russia. We can see that they've reached as far as the Amur region. So it turns out that it's possible to destabilize any rear areas, any industries, any directions. And this reminds me of the Mossad story. Remember the special operation with the cell phones? This is even bolder. Here there's artificial intelligence and delivery storage and in fact the strike itself. This is a weakness, not a strength. It turns out that the opponent has a different model. Everyone used to laugh at him, right? They said, oh, he's this and that. But he created a system, whether it was him or his team. If it was his team, then it's to his credit that he put together such a team.
In Ukraine, the leaders whom Putin just called terrorists continue to shed tears over the nuclear arsenal that was handed over to Moscow after the collapse of the Soviet Union. They propose making dirty bombs from the fuel that remains at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. Supposedly, this would only take a few weeks, and then, without warning, drop the bombs on Russia. These people are sick.
Hello! You are watching Channel 1 Live, and this is the program Time Will Tell. I'm Artem Shainin, which means, as always at this time, we bring you the most important and most relevant news. Today is June 20, and the news of June 20 is the kind of news that outshines all other news. If only because they are so important, interesting, and all-encompassing that, compared to them, the news from June Honest isn't even worth discussing anymore. Since, well, June Honest was yesterday. That's that. So for anyone interested in the news from June Honest, I wrote a lot about it yesterday on my Telegram channel. That's that. If you're interested, go check it out and read both the news and my thoughts on the matter. But since that was yesterday, and today is June 20, and today is Istanbul, we'll be discussing June 20 and Istanbul because, well, you all understand why. That's that.
You know what we need to do? So that when a guru or a former intelligence officer or a recruited agent gets behind the wheel of a heavy truck and drives to a military airfield so that drones are launched from the vehicle he's driving, we need him to see such a trip not as a journey to buy bagels at the Russian fair, but as a one-way road. He needs to understand that when he's arrested, he won't be sent to a detention center where he'll get medical treatment, read books, rest, eat well, and then return home with medals and decorations after the next prisoner exchange. No. He'll be shot, or better yet, hanged. That's how it needs to be. And there's no need to liquidate him during the arrest. That's what I'm insisting on. It's too simple. There needs to be a trial, an investigation, but a very brief one. We can introduce a simplified form of criminal proceedings. And the death penalty, through hanging and sending off. And that's a good thing. It will change the rules of the game. For this, there's no need to listen to the chairman of the Constitutional Court, who tells us fairy tales about liberal values, about Europeans, about how the world will be offended, about how it's all so complicated, these laws to change. None of that is necessary. a presidential decree. We end the moratorium, and as part of this decree, we write presidential decree of the Russian Federation on urgent measures to combat banditry, terrorism, and sabotage. And then we introduce simplified procedures. Detention for 30 days without trial. We detain, put the person in a cell, and carry out operational activities with them. By the way, this will be very useful for migration issues. But the main thing is the death penalty. Simplified criminal proceedings and hanging. That's it. And then a lot will change.
And that's why, Vladimir Vladimirovich, the inspection has just taken place. Right? The regions have started to implement something. But it's very important to maintain this attention, this coordination, this support and training. And I strongly ask for your decision to transform the all-Russian inspection, which you instructed to conduct, into an all-Russian family assistance service.
Retribution, or more precisely, just punishment for those who are behind all of this, is inevitable. And we, as civilized people, at that moment, will negotiate with him, with them, about how they prefer to face the firing squad, with their eyes blindfolded, or kneeling facing the wall, or bravely looking down the barrel. So those are the three options that, in the end, we will have to negotiate with them about. We, as humane people, will grant them the right to choose as their last wish.
After all, strategic aviation is part of our nuclear triad. So they weren't just targeting a plane. They were specifically targeting an aircraft that carries special munitions, in particular, the Kh-55 missiles, of which there are 16, as is the case with the 295, and it went down. And a single plane like that can easily wipe out half of America. So what should be done? Now, attention, here's a question. Who is ultimately responsible for the nuclear triad? Who is it? That's right. The General Staff is responsible for the nuclear triad. You know what's really scary? I really hope this doesn't get overlooked, that someone is held accountable for it. Not just a scapegoat, like the commander of the airbase who didn't guard himself properly. This is actually a systemic problem. And moreover, it's not just about removing someone from their position there. It needs to be criminal accountability for causing such enormous damage to our country.
When they attacked the Kursk region, it wasn't stated directly, openly, or honestly that, of course, when we liberate the Kursk region, you shouldn't expect us to just stop at the border. Obviously, we're going to go further. Well, they said it outright, I'm coming for you. How could you be more honest? What's so deceitful about that? Now they're surprised. Why us? They ask.
No, they even want to give us Chernihiv region.
Well, they'll go along with that nonsense.
They're also planning something for Bryansk over there.
Yeah, that's right. And Odessa should be included too. Igor Olegovich can vouch for that. At the same time, yes, indeed, sometimes voices of reason do break through. I often quote Professor here.
By the way, Chernihivim, not good with geography. Whose is it?
An ancient Rus city.
Yeah, and where is it now?
Under Ukraine.
So, well, it's...
Temporarily occupied Ukraine.
Russian city?
Well, of course, absolutely. And Kiev, even more Russian.
Kiev is more complicated.
What?
Well, the Poles sold Kiev to us.
All the more so.
Right? We paid money for it. So now, why is someone living there?
We'll sell the Lviv now.
No, that's who's there? Hey, get out of there. Damn. Some riffraff showed up. So I suggest we demolish it and rebuild it. Why tear it down? Tear it down. So, citizens of Kiev, Black Star, I don't consider you citizens of Ukraine. Are you waiting for Kiev? Immediately leave this cursed place.
As of today, have we gotten any closer to peace or not? If our main trend was...
You still don't understand. You're the one who needs peace.
I need it? Doesn't everyone need peace?
No, we need victory. We have a completely different goal. Our goal is to ensure the prosperity of our country and its security for generations to come. If achieving this means that Nazi regimes and the political elites supporting them must cease to exist, then so be it. We do not have the goal of preserving the Ukrainian political nation.
But that's not what they're being accused of.
That's why we don't need peace.
We absolutely need victory.
Do you understand? Our conditions are very simple. Our national interests must be upheld. Peace at any cost, a ceasefire. We have never said that. Not once.
After a series of incidents on the railways, aren't you perhaps even just a little afraid to use rail transport?
No, because we walk under God's protection. What will be, will be. You have to live for today and enjoy it.
I actually just bought a ticket to Crimea. It's to Feodosia, to a sanatorium. They gave it to me for treatment. It was really hard, but I managed to get a ticket. I'm going anyway, no matter what. Wherever they send me, yeah, really. Yeah, where to? The Crimean Bridge. I'm going to Crimea, to Feodosia for treatment at the sanatorium.
I think that it's America, England, this West, America, they're the main ones behind it all. And all these puppets, Ukraine too, they're just using it as a puppet for their own purposes to crush Russia. But they can't do anything else. Their weapons are inferior to ours at the moment. That's why they've decided to resort to small-scale sabotage, like partisans used to do. That's all there is.
To be continued. Something will happen in a few days.
Subtitles by Dima Torzov.
All right, let's go.
If we're leaving, then let's move now, right now. Just one more. The second stage. Yeah, we're leaving now. We're really leaving. All right. Yes, we need to go home. To the lady and loved ones. Something and the armor can't be.
Give this a like. Video, subscribe to my channel, Dasha Shasliva. We work for an audience all over the world so that people know the truth about Russian aggression, about Russia's war against Ukraine. That's why every like, every comment, every subscription helps make sure that as many people as possible around the world see this video. Stay with us, stay on the bright side. Friends, glory to Ukraine. Glory to the heroes, we will definitely win.